The black ball player that goes to these institutions has to be superb in almost every way. So a lot of the fun is taken from them because sometimes it could be their attitude. Sometimes it could be the way that they carry themselves. Sometimes it could be their hair. Sometimes it could be the way that they dress for a game that throws off a traditional coach's sense of a baseball player's look and a baseball player's feel. And that guy will never get the opportunity that he deserves because he's not around a coach that understands the black human or the Latino human that he's coaching in a uniform.
You're forced into a mold.
What's happening? Racism and dumb coaches ruin sports. Okay. So what they were talking about, he had the Joliet hat. Shout out to, Joliet, Illinois. A lot of times what happened when people were younger, you had coaches who were just scumbags. But part of the issue was when you mixed, when the team was mixed, I want black people on my team so I could bench them. I talked about this years ago. That's what happened a lot, especially with baseball. I want them on my team so I could bench them, and they'll never play again. Or that concept of they got a bad attitude. A lot of times, kids didn't really have a bad attitude. What it was the coach looked for an opportunity to be an asshole, as I'm teaching you toughness. You don't just scream at people out of the blue for dumb shit, and then they watch you. Like if you make a mistake or you don't make a mistake, and the coach goes off, and you're like, oh, okay. That's the first time. But then when you watch another player on the team make a mistake, and he's like, oh, you'll get it next time. It's like, I know what it is. And then you and the coach get into it. And it's his attitude. No, bitch. He figured you out. That's what that was. That's generally, I don't like the way you dress. I'm not, fuck you. The way I dress. What is the way I dress? If think about this, sports has uniforms, right? You didn't like the way kids looked in a uniform, and you tried to make them whiter for you. I don't like the way you're talking. Can you please talk like this so I can understand you? This is how a man talks, and this is how you look a man in the eye and shake his hand and a firm handshake. And I'm gonna tell you what happened. And I'm saying these as a coaching things, right? A lot of coaches were liars. They'll look you in your eye, shake your hand, and lie right to your fucking face. That's what they. And then, I looked you in the eye and I shook your hand. I lied to you, but we're here now. It's like, you a bitch. You a real bitch. There were a lot of coaches. They just weren't men. They were older than the players because they were coaches, but they weren't men. There was a lot of guys like that. Now, what got in the way with that, what got in the way of that in sports outside of baseball was capitalism. That's why we kind of went away from baseball into football and basketball, because we already knew most of them coaches in football and basketball didn't know what the fuck they were talking about anyways. A lot of them didn't. But if you can figure it out and be great on your own, they'll get a check for it. And that's what we're doing. That's why you even see this all the way in the NFL, not so much in the NBA now, but on the highest levels, I take that back. On the highest levels, you see a lot of incompetent coaches. They don't know because they don't know it. They don't know shit. They were just around a player who was excellent, so they got credit for that. That didn't mean they were a good coach. And a lot of them who were terrible, you know how they coached? I saw him do it, and that's what you're gonna do. It's like, bro, what the fuck are you talking about? We're completely different players. But if you don't do, that's the only way that works. That's the only way that you've seen work because you don't know what you're doing. That was the thing. Now, get to these other coaches, right? Um, there's these other coaches who, how can I do this? Some of y'all were athletes, but y'all wasn't really that good. And some of y'all weren't athletes and y'all just out here because y'all scamming, hustling, and betting on games. So some of y'all are hard coaches because you didn't put down a $500 bet on this game because you these two coaches going at it because I gotta win. I'm gonna win this money. And you weren't really coaching your kids. You was hoping um your kids put some money in your pocket. It's like, bro, so you don't know what you're really doing. You know what I'm saying? And this starts at an early age, even with that Pop Warner stuff. Some of y'all are bad coaches, horrible people. Y'all can teach the kids how to play dirty, how to cuss. And I'm gonna say this because you see a lot of black coaches that are in Pop Warner really teaching these kids to be assholes. And people go, yeah, that's what happens. But what you don't see, which is really the coaching culture that most black athletes wind up being around. White coaches, they don't teach the cussing. Oh, but they teach some dirty shit. You know, they'll have, fumbled. They're the ones that have players squeezing on your genitals and try to put their fingers up your rectum to poke you in the eyes, spit on you. Oh, he's Lord. Oh, if you can, I know this is a game full of 12-year-olds, but if you can, try to take his knees out so you'll try to break his leg or his ankle. Yeah, yeah, that's what they're on. That's what they're on. You know, if he falls down, jump on him, spear him in the back with your helmet, even after the player's dead. Yeah. It's like, oh, okay. But then y'all cover that up. Oh, we were just being good. It's like, uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Those are the coaches that will run on the field and hit a player because he don't want because he don't want him to score if he by the sidelines. Those are those people. Those are the people who will to stick their foot out to trip you. And Mike Tomlin did that shit too. you know, but they'll do it to kids though. On a basketball, oh, I don't know what happened. Uh-huh. And what happened is that um that's what has ruined sports, youth sports. Somewhat high because you don't see as many people in high school playing sports as there used to be because, excuse me, a lot of y'all suck the fun out of it. Should I say pause? Because of all the shit y'all was on. See, there's a lot of people that got into coaching just to be an asshole, just to yell at somebody. Because you really don't have to yell at people. You have to yell at people when you tell them how to do something and they just don't do it. It's like, bro, what's up with you? Because it ain't that. Some things ain't that difficult, but sometimes you dealing with kids, and some of them can pay attention, some of them can't. Some of them have other stuff going on in their lives and their kids, and it's shit in the way. So that happens. But generally, you don't have to do all that stuff. Just that's why I say even like with 7-on-7 culture with and I see this 7-on-7 culture and sometimes in basketball culture, and I've seen stuff in baseball, but not so much now. You know what I'm saying? But they do some weird shit. But hockey for sure, hockey for sure. But this is what I say. What I'm trying to get at. You can say that in boxing. Now that I think about it, because some of these coaches, I want to get a champion, so they work the kid to death till they quit. Like, I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. I'm through with this shit. You took all the fun out of it. But getting back to the other sports that I was talking about, there have been too many coaches who because they want to take out their frustrations in life on kids. Yeah, I'm trying to be nice, bro. I'm really am. Let me skip because what I was about to say is going to be real cold. Some of y'all got an issue because y'all want coaching is a way to sleep with people's mama. So that took the fun out of it because you wanted to play the sports and you seeing the coach trying to smash your mama. Some of y'all, um, some of you coaches out here have, y'all talk about R. Kelly, but some of you coaches, boy, y'all way worse. Sisters, I've seen that before. The other thing, some of y'all, because some of y'all don't know what y'all doing, y'all take the fun out of sports because y'all want people to do it your way when you don't actually know what you're coaching a position or coaching it, but you don't actually know the position. So what you're doing is actually off. Think about this. Have you if you watch professional sports, have you noticed that people will say this about professional athletes when they're young? Oh yeah, they didn't even. We got to teach them how to play the game. They didn't know how to play the game. Why was that? Because because the coaches was trash. That's what they was trash. They didn't know what they was doing. And yeah. I'm gonna say this. I can say this. Some of you coaches took the fun out of the game because yeah, I can do that one. Some of y'all been playing video games and y'all trying to make video games reality, and y'all cool with trying to let the kids play video games in a real game, and knowing that stuff don't work most of the time and it might get them hurt. You don't care. And part of that is some of y'all your coaching style got these kids hurt and they don't want to play no more, and you didn't care about their health or safety, so you just let them play until something worse happened. So then they're like they put off by it. You know what I'm saying? And so y'all took the fun out of it. The racist coaches. A lot of times, what happens, the racist coaches really want whichever their group to be the primary star of the team. Kind of like when you got, because there's a lot of dads who've been coaches and they want their son to be the star. And there's far more dads whose son was trash, but they ruined other people's opportunity than there are whose son was great and everybody understood, yeah, your boy can ball. There have been far more of those people. You know what I mean? So you took the fun out of it because you had people quit and play other positions, and because I want my son to be great. Your son garbage, and your son garbage, and you know he garbage because you garbage. So they took the fun out of it, which made people just walk away. But I'm gonna leave it at that. Catch y'all on the next one. Peace.